Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on WakeUpCallDT.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT, where you're listening. You're watching and seeing me and Miss Katie Kolinski here on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. So with that being said, since the last time we talked, Katie, added some more avenues for people to get in touch with us. And how you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little nervous. Normally it's just over, the phone. So this is a little different. We got the face to face now. So
I
I like
know.
the added, video though.
We gotta see the grill now. You gotta see what's going on. So how's life? How's being a mom?
It's good. Just trying to navigate the crazy season that we're in right now with COVID and, games are getting canceled left and right. And, just trying to take care of my daughter every day and go to practice and have our games. And, hopefully we can get on a little run here coming up.
Yeah, and being a mom and having your daughter, first and foremost though, let's shout her out to everybody that doesn't know. So let's shout out the daughter. Let's shout her.
My girl Kaiya Bean.
Yeah. See, what do you call her?
Kaiya Bean.
Kaiya Bean. Okay. Is that the number one nickname, or is there other ones?
Well, I like to call her Beanie because her middle name is Bean after Kobe Bryant. So, I call her Beanie, Kaiya Coco. I don't know, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. So Kaiya Bean. So, okay. I didn't know the middle name was Bean. So awesome. So,
yes.
So how is she? How has she been?
She's good. She's a lot. I mean, as any parent would know, that it's a lot. It's a 24/7 job. So, I'm the only one here in the morning to wake up with her. She could be up at 4 or 5 or 6, and then I got to get myself ready for work. And like this morning we were up at 6, and then I gave her a bath, and then I had to get ready and be in the office by 9, and we had practice this morning at 10:30. And she's good though. She's a happy kid. We went to the gym today for practice, and she was just smiling and so happy to be around the girls.
Yeah.
And she's always watching, like just going when the girls are going up and down. She's always watching them at practice. So it's a pretty cool experience to see her kind of like grow up in the gym a little bit.
For you, I mean, she's getting to see your world really as the first world she sees. What's that like for you, that your passion and your love is really like the first things that she's ever going to see?
Yeah, it's awesome, because I have such a passion for like sports and basketball. So just knowing that she gets to kind of like watch every day and, be a part of like even our stretching circle. And, I'll do her stretches with her, and she'll do tummy time with the girls in the circle. And, just to know she has another family here out in PA, it's really cool to see. And just seeing like our girls with her too. They're like sisters to her, and she has like 15 sisters. And, then Kia, our head coach, is the same, like loves having her around. And like I'll be in the middle of practice and it'll be time for Kaiya to eat, and she lets me just go right into the office and feed her. And
Yeah.
I could be gone for like 20 minutes of practice, but that's the kind of atmosphere. And shout out to my head coach Kia, because she kind of makes it happen for me to be a mom and coach at the same time.
And for that, I was going to ask you that, like, how has the staff been, and how has Lafayette been with the fact that when all this was going on, you had Kaiya, and then you had to find a way to get back into the swing of things. How have they been?
Yeah, obviously, my story's been out there that I'm a single mom, and it's tough because I don't have, even like when I come home at night and I gotta like watch film and do my scout and make recruiting phone calls. Like I don't have someone that could just take her for an hour or two, or, wake up in the morning with her so I can get myself ready and get to work. Like it's just me. So when I come home and she's got to eat and, whatever, I got to change her diaper, I got to give her a bath, change her clothes, she, like I said, she's a 24/7 job. So, just navigating that. And luckily, like people like our head coach, Kia, our assistant coaches, like Nat, like she stayed at the office an extra 2 hours today just so I could watch film for my scout in that's a week away. So it's like just having like people like that. And sometimes our players will come over and just help me for an hour or two just so I can watch film. And, just having support like that is really helpful in this situation, and being able to bring her to practice and at work every day. Lafayette has been amazing. Kia, our head coach, has been amazing. Our staff has been amazing. Our players. So, it's really fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's cool just to be able to have the support I have. And, I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have support here.
You get the job at Lafayette, and then you find out you're pregnant, and then you got to go. I mean, it's like it's like it happened. I mean, I remember sitting with you, and you had come back to Central New York, and we were actually watching the Raptors win the 2019 NBA Finals. And you were like, hey, personally, I don't know what I'm doing with this. Professionally, I don't know what I'm doing with that. And then all of a sudden, the job comes in, and you become a mom, and then you got to go back to your job fresh off of just starting it. What was that like for you? And were you ever nervous that, it wasn't going to work?
Yeah, obviously being a new coach, and like you said, like when I was with you, I didn't have a job at the time. I was kind of in between jobs, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And I finally got a break, and I finally got the coaching job I've been working for, for 8 years. And it was awesome. I was having so much fun last year and coaching and working with the girls, and, we were winning. And, obviously last December, I found out I was pregnant, and it was a complete surprise. And I didn't know. It was a lot of unknowns. I don't have family out in PA. Obviously I have the team, and I'm a single mom, and it was just kind of like, wow. It was kind of like a what's gonna happen and how is this gonna work? But just having Kia, our head coach, behind us since day one, saying, Katie, you're fine. Anytime I doubted it, Katie, we got you. We're here. Like, you're going to bring her to the office. She's going to come. She got to come on road trips, whatever we got to do. Like, we're going to make it work. And, you're not even going to think about not coming back next year. And just having her support made it a lot easier, through the process, because, being a single mom, I did have doubts, but I was excited at the same time. And, you don't really know what you're capable of doing until you're in the situation. And then you have no choice but to make it happen. And every day I wake up, I'm like, I have no choice but to make sure Kai is okay. And, I have a duty to our players to make sure that I'm doing my duty as a coach too. So it's good. It was a little nerve wracking because of, the situation, but everything really did work out.
Where did the name Kaya come from?
You know what? I don't even know. I wanted a K name because I have a K name, and I was just looking up names, like just K names, just a lot of K names. And if it was a boy, it was gonna be Kobe. And I had that picked out for a while. It was gonna be Kobe Carson. And then if it was a girl, for like 6 months of my pregnancy, Kaya just came to mind, and I just stuck with it the whole pregnancy. I just didn't even switch it. And one of my friends who's a big Kobe fan was like, have you thought about naming her Bean as her middle name? And, I was like, I didn't really think about that because of how big of a Kobe fan I am. And I just stuck with me, Kaya Bean. And everyone liked it. And that's what it was. And I told people ahead of time what her name was. I wasn't like that person. I was like, oh, you can't know until, she comes out. And, it stuck with me. And I love the name to this day. So I'm glad, I picked that name.
And that's the thing, because Kaya Bean it sounds like a nickname. You know what I mean? And her name sounds like a nickname, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of Kayas out there, especially spelled the way I spelled it. I spelled it Kaiya. So a lot of people are like, how is this spelled? And, so it's unique. I think I'm a unique individual, and I don't like to go by what everyone else is doing. So you knew I was going to have some type of name that wasn't going to be a generic name.
Yeah, that coming here from Katie Kolinski, here with us, was with Syracuse for 7 seasons. The men's basketball program is now with Lafayette, and they're with the Leopards for Division One. And when it comes to women's basketball, and in the midst of all of this, Katie, you find out that you're pregnant, you go through coronavirus, you're at home with your family, you're on the couch, you can't go anywhere, you can't be around anyone, you don't want to get sick, you don't want to get the baby sick, and then everything gets put on hold in the sports world. Your entire world, becoming a mother, would have already turned upside down, but then it was upside down on top of itself. And where do I go, and what do I do? And I can't leave the house, and now what am I going to do when the season comes back? Is there going to be a season? Bring in the fact that you became a mom in the middle of a pandemic, which is a very unique thing. That's there are obviously women around the world can tell the story, and each of you are going to have a different kind of aspect of it because of the story that you personally can tell. But there's women all over the world and men all over the world that became parents in the middle of all this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot. Like I left work, at the end of our season thinking that, I was just gonna go home for 2 weeks and we were coming back to work. And, even though I was pregnant, and that 2 weeks turned into the rest of the summer I was home. And then I finally got a doctor in Syracuse, and you can't have people at your appointments, and you're going to appointments by yourself. And, I'm not going out anywhere besides just my house because like you said, I don't want to get sick. And so I didn't have any type of social life. I didn't have any type of interaction, but really my family, my parents. So it was, some lonely days and it was a lot. And through those days though, you learn a lot about yourself. And luckily I was still working and we were doing Zoom calls every day and I was recruiting and we were hopping on Zooms with recruits every day. And it's a lot of interchanging parts. And you just learn a lot about yourself in these moments because when you don't think you can do it, or you're by yourself in your thoughts, you just kind of, what are you telling yourself and what kind of thoughts do you have and are you being positive or not? So even like it was a lot, it was a good learning experience for me. And I wouldn't have traded the experience for the world. And I made it out okay. I gave a great birth. And, even though, I was really sick at the end, I had a healthy baby. And, as she wakes up right now, you can even see her she's laying next to me and she's like, Mom, why are you talking while I'm sleeping?
Oh,
Hi,
what's
guys.
up, Kaya?
So yeah, this is the life of a mom. And
When you said that, like, she can't sleep unless she's like next to you.
yeah, unless she's next to me. So I had to put her out here while we did the call. And, obviously I'm talking and she woke up, but, normally she wakes up when she's hungry too.
Yeah. So I mean, this experience for you, these last few months, what's it taught you about yourself?
It just kind of teaches you, when you think you can't do something, you definitely can do it. And it's just about putting your mind to it. And if you think it's hard, it's going to be hard. And do I have days where it is so hard and I'm just like, how am I going to do this? And, today she was cranky all day and she was hungry and she was just upset most of the day. And, I was tired because I've been up all night with her, all morning with her, and I'm trying to get a scout done. And, I know I have to make some recruit calls and all this stuff. And, you realize though through it all that, it's worth it. I'm coaching, I'm doing what I love, I'm being a mom. And I didn't realize how much I was going to love being a mom until I was a mom. And it's exactly what I needed. You don't think you need certain things, and it has changed my whole life. And, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I can't imagine a life without Kaya in it now. So, I think people doubted me from the beginning. I think people questioned me. I think people judged the situation. But, at the end of the day, it's my story and it's my situation. And no one else has to live this life but me. And, I'm grateful for it.
And you talked about that, the fact that people judged you, people might have thought you can't do it. Why are you doing this? What's going on? In the world that we live in today, everybody's got an opinion about everybody. Yet they typically, the people that have an opinion about everybody else have no idea how to take care of their own life. And it's usually chaos. I've never seen a person that's had it all together pick on somebody else. How did you handle people counting you? I mean, this should be like the greatest time in your life. It should be 9 months of people saying, let's go, Katie, you got this. How did you handle the fact that some people are saying, maybe you don't have this? Why would you do this? What are you doing? How'd you handle that?
Yeah, I think obviously there's some people that are old school approaches, like you have to be married and before you can have children, and you got to do it the traditional way, and stuff just doesn't happen that way. And and I don't know if some people were doubtful. They were just concerned for me, like, how are you going to do it? That's going to be a lot. Like, you have a full-time job that is a lot of time commitment. And I think it was more just concern. And through the concern, I had a lot of people that were there for me. I have a big, big, big support system in my life. And from the people at Lafayette, from my family who comes up on weekends, from my family who will send me formula and everything else. And, having that support is what got me through this. I have a best friend that went to Syracuse and played volleyball there. And, she has been through like my ace through this. Like every night I was pregnant, going through pregnancy on my own, and she called me and made sure I was okay. And she was up here for like a month or two, the last couple months, helping me out on her break at school. So just stuff like that, having a support system. Like my brother has come up here, my aunts have come up here. I'm not alone. And I think that's the biggest thing, is just knowing I'm not alone. And from like I said, my staff and even our assistant coach Nat today, taking 2 hours out of her day so I could get my scout done,
Yeah.
is what gets me through this stuff. So,
And like you said, having people that are there for you, going through this on your own, going through morning sickness, aches and pains in the middle of the night, getting up, not feeling well. What got you through that?
yeah, I don't know. I just through how hard everything was. And I think it just goes back to the support, having the support of our staff here. And I was alone. I was pregnant and alone in Pennsylvania, besides having, obviously basketball staff and players. And it was a lot. And, I would come home to myself, and I would just have all these thoughts through my head, like what's going to happen, this and that. And, sometimes you just got to pray on it, and you have to lean on people. I don't do a good job of asking for help, even when I need help, and I know I need help sometimes. And
Yeah.
I've gotten better at asking for help, and, kind of leaning on people when I need them.
For you to get through all of this and to do this, when you first found out that you were pregnant and that you were going to do this as a single parent, what were the first things that went through your head?
I don't even know. It was a whirlwind of emotions. Like, you find out you're pregnant, and then you got to tell people. And, I had to tell my family and my parents. And, it was just a lot going through my head. And we were playing games, and, we were still coaching. And, I would go through like to coaches meetings. Like the next morning I found out, and you're the only one knows that you're pregnant. And it's like, oh my God, like this is different, So it was just different. And, through it all, and like I said, having the support of people, I realized it was going to be okay. And, I don't give myself kudos enough, but I think I'm kicking butt right now, and I'm doing it, and I'm showing I can do it every day. And sometimes you got to give yourself credit for, the stuff you do.
And I think that's the thing. Speaking here with Katie Kolinski, and yeah, I want to tell you that she's an assistant coach at Lafayette and that she was at Syracuse for 7 seasons. But the real thing when I think of you is, I'm talking to one of my closest people. Like, I'm talking to one of my closest friends. Before we did this on the air and whatnot, with all the craziness of your life, I was asking you for advice because I trust you. So I think you should give yourself kudos, because I remember the first time that I said hello to you was actually we were out in Omaha, Nebraska, and the season was wrapping up. Syracuse had lost to Duke. You were walking through, and somebody, I think, congratulated you on something. And I was like, I waved and said, "Hey, how are you?" And then I reached out to you after that, and we've been talking ever since. And Katie, with the thing that the people don't see is you've actually been one of the rocks in my life. You've been a huge supporter. You've been, somebody professionally and personally that has always kind of been a cheerleader for me and positive for me, and always wanting me to stay focused and know my worth. So, I got to say thank you for that, because I knew you were going to be a great mom before you became a mom, because the love and compassion and the selflessness that you had and the time that you spent with me, a total stranger that became a friend. I mean, you have enriched my life, and there's so many things that you've done that I can't even thank you enough for, that even know about. And so I knew you were going to be a great mom, because I saw the compassion, I saw the love, I saw the honesty and the integrity and the humility and the kindness that it takes to be a great parent, because you gave that to me as a friend.
No, I appreciate that a lot. It's likewise. And, I'm a vibe person. And I knew, from the moment I met you, that you were just a good person, just trying to do good and put good out there. And, I'm all about that in life. And, I do think you have to be there for people and hear people's stories and try to help people along the way. And, that's the big reason I coach, is because I wanted to help people, and then when I came a mom, like, you just don't know the love you can truly have until you have a child. And, I won't let anything come between that. I will fight for this kid to the day I die. And, you don't realize you have that in you until you have a kid, and you're just like, it's different, and I try to just, go with that same compassion every day. And it's funny you mentioned Omaha, because we did lose out there. And, I'll tell you, I don't know if people know the story, but we had lost to Duke, and like that was the end of my Syracuse career. And I loved Syracuse so much. And
Yeah.
I was crying in the coach's locker room, like after the game, with like Coach Boeheim, GMAC, and all of them. And they were just kind of looking at me like they didn't even know what to say, because, it's different. And I'll never forget just crying in that room after we had lost. And, it's good lessons learned. And, I really thought we were going to randomly go to the Final Four that year. Like, that's kind of, hope Coach Boeheim puts into teams. And, it's all lessons learned, really. But that's funny that you bring up Omaha.
And I remember how crazy, like my side of it, I don't even think you know this, but in order for me to get to Omaha, because it was so hard because for whatever reason, the NCAA, not, no offense to Omaha, Nebraska, but the NCAA should never have games there because, they make fun of Syracuse's airport. Omaha, they have one of their gates in the airport is right up against security because they don't have enough room. So it's like gate one is as you're going through security, everybody's looking at you. There's like one place to eat. There's one little shop. There's like 4 or 5 gates. It's all in one place. It's like literally sitting in an auditorium. That's the airport. And so I had to go from Syracuse to Minneapolis, Minneapolis to Des Moines, Iowa. I rented a car, drove that SUV
Bro.
2 hours, pulled in. The game had already started, but it was only a few minutes in, thank God. Got into the game after it was raining. It was crazy. And just literally went into that game, went upstairs and watched it. And then literally went back, worked on all my work for the game in the hotel room, ordered pizza. It got there at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Then I got up a few hours later, got on a plane and went home, like just so I could be in Omaha.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like you don't realize too, like even that season from going from Detroit and getting like to our next spot at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And
yeah.
it was just a lot. It was just that season was really crazy. And just the stuff that goes on behind the scenes and what the players go through, I don't think they get enough credit for what they really go through in their bodies and the taxing of the season. And I even had to shout out all players and coaches right now because this whole COVID thing is hard. Games are getting scheduled, they're getting canceled. You don't know who you're playing. Our game last week, we were supposed to play American on a Saturday. It got canceled Friday night at 6 p.m. We picked up Loyola, Maryland at 6:30 p.m. And the next morning we were on a bus out to Loyola when we were supposed to play home that day. And, just having to get meals and buses and itineraries and, the things coaches and staffs are doing right now is unbelievable with the situation at hand.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like people don't think about this, but Syracuse had to do this. They went from having a home game against North Carolina to going on the road to Clemson, and it was like, why? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, why give up a home game and then go on the road? And, but they're trying to have a season. They're trying to get the games in. They're trying to do what they can. And I don't think that, players get enough credit because first and foremost, players and coaches, I'm talking about me as a member of the media, as a broadcaster and a writer, all of that took to get to Omaha, and then you have all that stuff. And it's like, I remember one day, Michael Carter Williams, the game ended, y'all got on a plane. And then like, it was like 2 hours later, he was like, just touchdown in Syracuse. And I'm like, how the hell did he get home that quick?
Yeah.
But it's like, and then it's like practice the next day, going to school, like, weight training. People they look at wins and losses, but they don't look at all of the travel, all the practice, all of the games, the wear and tear. Then you add into a season that start, stop, away, home, move this to Tuesday, that to Wednesday, then move that up, then move that back a week, then let's do this, but we got to get it all done before March 1st. This season has made craziness more crazy, but people think about this year as crazy because they don't know how crazy it is for you as a coach to go through it on a normal year.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. And like we were even on a 7-day pause and our kids couldn't do anything. They couldn't even touch a basketball for 7 days in the season. Like you're not touching a basketball for 7 days in the season. And then maybe if a player does have COVID or whatever the situation is, like they could be out longer and then they were sick that whole time. So then they got to try to come back and get in shape from being that sick with COVID. And it's just a lot. And, we're getting games in and it's just a blessing. Like, I don't even care about records right now. Like just being able to play games and being healthy is a blessing in its own right during this season. Cause I've never seen anything like this in my life. And it is taxing. It is exhausting. It is exhausting for the players, the coaches, people trying to make the schedules. Like it's a lot.
I mean, and how do you navigate through it as a mom, knowing like you have a home game, so you make like preparations and plans, and then okay, now it's an away game, you got to go on the road. Like, how do you deal with that as a mom and a coach?
Yeah, no, it was a lot because it was like the night before my birthday, and actually Baikita had come up with his wife Alma, and they were here. And 6:30 at night, we got the call like, "Hey, Americans canceled. We're playing Loyola," and I play the role as a dobo, so it was my job to get a meal after the game. It was my job and that's less than 24-hour notice. It was my job to, get a new itinerary in and, all that stuff. And then it turned into my scout because I had the Loyola scout. So, everything changed so rapidly and I had to get the information to the kids. And, I had buying Alma here and we just had to order dinner and I didn't even get to sit down and have dinner with them.
Yeah.
And while all this is going on, I have a daughter and, luckily they were here to help with her. And then, the next morning I had a friend coming up that was going to help on my birthday, but it was supposed to be home. So it turned into a road game. So it's just a lot. It is. And, again, I'm a single mom, so it's just me and I got to navigate it and I got to figure it out. And, luckily I just have the support I have because it wouldn't work otherwise. And it is what it is. That's what I've learned. I just stay afloat every day and just take it for what it is right now.
So what do you do for home and away games with Kaya being? What's the plan?
Yeah, so I mean, we can't have fans in the stands. So like if we could have fans, I would just have someone come to like the game and watch her during the game. But my family has done a good job of just helping me out. So like next Wednesday we play a game. My brother will come up here. My parents are coming up the weekend after that. So I'm just lucky that I do have the support I have that they'll just come for the weekends. One weekend we played a game, my aunt came up and, stayed with Kaya for the weekend. And luckily we don't go overnight places. So I don't have to like be away from her at night because I think that'd be a lot for her at this age. It's just like I'll be gone for maybe 6 hours in the day and I'll be back. So it's not too bad for her. And then home games, I'm only away from her for like 3 hours and I come home to her. So it definitely could be worse if we were traveling, staying overnight. But it's not that bad with our schedule. We only play Saturdays and Sundays usually. So
Yeah, and I mean, Saturdays and Sundays for you now. I mean, is that how it is moving forward, or is this just Corona schedule at this point?
yeah, this is just Corona schedule. But I think like moving forward, once she gets a little older and bigger, it's going to be easier to navigate. So I actually, in a way, got lucky this year that, we're not staying overnight anywhere. It's Saturday, Sunday. I can have help on the weekends. It hasn't been that bad. And I'm hoping next year we'll be able to have fans in the stands. So I can just she can come to the game with us.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, it's so unique, and trying to protect her in this world as a mom in general, and then trying to protect her from a pandemic. How have you dealt with all of this? Does it make you more fearful? I don't know you to have many fears, so I mean, how do you deal with all that?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all getting tested 3 times a day or a week. So I got tested today, it was negative. I got tested Monday, it was negative. So I'm actually in the safest place she could be if you really think about it, because if someone has COVID, you're gonna catch it right away. And at the end of the day, I can't protect her from everything. You can just do your best to, you know, just obviously you don't want her to get COVID. So, we do our best, wear a mask, wash our hands. I keep her away from people for the most part. If my family comes up, they get tested ahead of time.
Yeah.
Obviously the team's getting tested. So it's really, to me, it's a safe environment because our kids literally aren't, going anywhere besides, the dining hall into their dorm and, we're getting tested. So, I've kind of just put it in God's hands this year and just hope that we're doing the right thing to, keep her safe.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, and you talk about, and I kind of want to put like this out there to your moms and dads. What is your advice and what are your words of wisdom to single parents out there?
Yeah, seek help. You can't do it on your own. And then you just got to know that the hard days are going to be there. And there's days you want to cry, and there's days that she's crying, and you're both crying, and you're tired and you're exhausted. But, it's worth it. And you just got to keep fighting. That's what I realized. Like, I can't just sit here and say, oh, like it's the perfect life and I don't cry and it's perfectly fine. I'm never tired. Like, no, I'm exhausted every day. Like, even right now, I'm exhausted. I've been up and going all day working and, taking care of her, but, she's worth it, and kids are worth it. And, I just want to be able to give her the best life I can possibly give her. And I'm going to fight for that life every day. And, she's my motivation to keep going. And, it's okay that certain situations don't work out, but it's just kind of how you deal with that situation. And, I feel like I've just taken this situation on, head on. And, like I have days I complain, I have days that I get tired or, whatever. But, at the end of the day, like I said, she's worth it no matter what. And I'm a fight for her no matter what. So that's kind of where I stand. And, you know, you just got to keep fighting.
Speaking here with my good friend Katie Kolinski, spent 7 years at Syracuse on the men's basketball staff. and is now at Lafayette with the Leopards. Being at Lafayette, what has it taught you beyond all of this and being a mom and the pandemic and everything else? Just to look at Lafayette itself, why was this a good decision, and what has it taught you up to this point?
Yeah, I think it was a good decision for me because our head coach allows me to grow. She puts me in situations at practice, puts me in situations with our kids where she lets me coach. She
Yeah.
lets me watch film with them. She lets me work them out and teach the kids like what I want to teach them. And I when we do scouting reports, like I'm the one that gives it to the team when it's my scout, and she lets us put it together and deliver it. And I have had a lot of growth in my last year since I've been here. As a coach, and I'm a young coach, and I'm realizing I have a lot more to learn and go. But she allows it to happen, and she doesn't judge or get mad. Like even if I do make a mistake, she just kind of talks to me about it, like, hey, you got to be better with this, or hey, you can really do this better. And it's good to have that type of critique. And I don't really think it's criticism when someone's trying to teach you to be the best you. So I've just learned that I have a long way to go with coaching, but at the end of the day, it's been just a good situation because I have the freedom to get where I need to go. So I'm definitely thankful for that.
And having that, I mean, do you look, are we going to kind of time capsule this show and look back on this? And, I'm going to be talking to Katie Kolinski, the head coach who, is raising your daughter around the game. I mean, is that something, I feel like that's going to happen to you?
You know what? I don't know what the future holds. I will say this, that I have a sincere loyalty towards my head coach, and kind of what she's done for me and helped me, especially, giving me a chance and hiring me. And I'm gonna ride it out with her as long as I can and as long as she'll have me. And hopefully we'll be talking 10 years from now that we created a dynasty at Lafayette and we won Patriot League championships and we're at the top of the league for a long time to come. That's the goal. So I'm hoping that's what happens.
Yeah, and the thing is, having a coach that understands what's going on in your life, understands, you being a mom and all that. I mean, what you said she's doing for you, it goes above and beyond the normal expectation.
Way more than I have ever expected. And like I said, I don't know how to really thank her, repay her for, everything she's done for me, but she definitely has some loyalty on my end. And for a long time to come, I will definitely be loyal. So
That coming from Miss Kolinski here. Katie, before I let you go, what have you learned the most about yourself at this point?
I learned that, like I said, that obviously things are going to get hard and nothing's going to be perfect, but
Yeah.
it's how you deal with the adversity, is how you deal with it. And, that's what I'm kind of learning, that I just got to keep pushing forward and lean on people for support and, continue to be a good person. And I think good things happen to good people. And that's what you and I talk about all the time, Dan. Just be a good person and half the battle will go away. So
We've seen that, we've seen social justice, we've seen a pandemic, we have seen so much go on, in these last few months. And, with being a parent, with the social justice issues, with, the way you and I treat people as opposed to how other people treat people, and all of that, when you look at this world today, what what should be the message here in 2021?
I think we just need to love each other. I know it sounds silly, but it's like all the stuff that's going on in the world, and we're finally raising awareness, and we're finally raising awareness for equality. And we just got to come together as one. We're all the human race. There's no difference from me and the next person. And I just hope that my daughter can grow up in a world that's accepting of her and accepting of each other. So I just hope she sees change in the world, because I know she deserves better from what we've had in the past.
Coming from Katie Kolinski. Katie, I know you got to get to Miss Kaya Bean, but I appreciate you so much for spending some time here with me to kind of, update us on how things are going. Selfishly, I just want to talk to a friend, but, I know that I got to get my butt over to Pennsylvania. And if there's any way that I can help out either there or when you're here, please don't hesitate to call.
No, I appreciate that a lot, Dan. I always appreciate you having me on the show.